Happy Sunday, everybody. I hope you're doing great. Welcome to your weekend collective. This is going to be for the next 7 days. Before I get started, my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. This little furry guy in the background is Apollo, and we're both super pleased to have you guys here today. We're going to be taking a look at a special topic today that it's kind of amazing here that we had almost a dead tie when I was looking at the general poll here, 30% to 30%. But because of the members and Patreon supporters, we're going to go with increasing self-worth and net worth. It beat out calling in high-frequency relationships. So thank you so much to all of you that voted twice. This week, you guys broke the tie. So really exciting when that happens. I'm always happy to give back to all the supporters out there. So thank you very much. Before we get started, just a quick reminder to hit that like and subscribe button. Also opt into the bell notifications. This is really important as we go into the next couple of months here because I am moving. As you can see, I'm in the process of that. And what I've been doing and will be doing over the course of September, October, and parts of November is I'll be in an Airbnb while I find my new place. Long story short, my old place was not suitable to live. There was termites, and it was going to put me into a sort of precarious situation when the rainy season came through. So all those intuitive vibes that I was getting about the roof, they were actually valid. So I'm so happy to be clear and clean of that energy. And I'm excited to see what new things come through over the course of the next few months. But to make sure that you keep up with me and you don't miss a beat, please do like and subscribe. I'd love for you to follow me on social media as well. It's easy to remember because it's always going to be my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh. The only exception being Twitter, where it's Ashbaugh. And remember, if you do follow me, that I don't offer private readings and I don't use direct messages. So if anyone reaches out and offers something, you know it's not me. Please do report them and let me know about that as well. If you'd like to show some love and support, it's always optional, but you can do that through super stickers, super chat, and memberships. I talked before about people that could vote twice. All of the members here on YouTube and also Patreon supporters get a chance to put in 2 votes for the weekend topic. And again, this weekend they broke the tie, so thank you to all of those members. All right, it's time to begin. So let's get started with the channeled messages. Channeled messages today are really kind of fun, actually. One was inspired by a plant, which then led me into the constellation in Greek mythology. And you all know that I love to kind of geek out on mythology. So let's talk first about what came through in dreams. And it basically was this beautiful epiphyllum, which is a fancy name for a cactus. And it blooms at night. It's a white flower called Sirius, which is very close to like Sirius the star. So I wanted to look at both today. So let me go ahead and pull up the presentation and we'll talk about some mythology and some horticulture and how all of this is going to connect today to the next 7 days ahead for you. All right. So here we go, everybody. Here's the presentation. And again, 2 different things that we'll be looking at here. So Queen of the Night is also what this cactus is called for those of you that might have it and know it by its sort of familiar name. And let's begin with that. So as I said, this cactus is famous for the fact that it blooms at night. And that flower, just kind of like a morning glory as well, will only last for 1 night. So there is this sort of very temporary energy or ephemeral energy with it, but it's beautiful and it's worth the wait for any of you that have seen that. To me, this symbolizes something more than just a pretty flower. I always like to go deeper into the totems. And it's a gentle, subtle unfurling sort of inner growth that's happening with many of us. Have you ever noticed that it's easier to see the growth or change in others than it is for it to kind of be apparent for you? And the same is true. Others may notice something. They'll say, you've got a different sort of energy, a different glow, you seem happier. They may notice that there are changes in your sort of physical appearance if you've been working on yourself. And again, this isn't always apparent to us first. Energetically, the shift is happening though, and it may then become much more apparent to you later. These subtle changes are nonetheless very pivotal, and it actually was very closely connected to the card that I pulled for Sunday, which was Temperance. And basically with the Temperance angel, it's saying kind of take 1 step at a time, don't rush, be very present, achieve a balance where it hasn't existed before. And all of that factors in really nicely with what we're seeing here. I featured the Ace of Wands on this card because to me, you look at it, it looks just like a fresh start, right? Like a new plant, or if you're going to take a cutting of something and propagate it and make it grow. It starts small first, but then it can become a tree. It can become something bigger. So subtlety, sometimes it escapes us or it's wasted on us. So pay attention to the subtle movement of intuition. I often like to equate the way guides work or the way our intuition works as kind of like a whisper. It's not going to come through with a big foghorn. It's not going to be on a jumbotron television. It's going to be very subtle, and it's up to us to really pick up on that subtlety. The last and the most important piece is about the ephemeral or the temporary piece that I talked about, which is right here, right now, there is something subtle that's coming to the surface that wants your attention, and this timing is important. Right here, right now, plant the seed, focus on that, and you're going to start to see growth if you do it. If you don't, another window of opportunity may open in the future, but you're not going to know exactly when. And you may sort of be pinching yourself and wondering, like, why didn't I do something about that earlier? So I'm encouraging you to seize this window of opportunity right here, right now. And again, just like the Temperance Angel showed us in the one card pull for today, easy does it. Just one step at a time, and you're going to start to see progress over the days and weeks to come. Okay? So subtle but powerful changes. Blinded by the light. Now we're going to move on to Sirius, and we're talking about the beautiful star in the sky. So let's geek out into the etymology of the word Sirius, and then we'll talk about the star itself. So it comes from a Greek word that means glowing or scorching. And interestingly enough, as I did the research, this particular star is behind the dog days of summer because of its connection in the sky with the sun. So the rising of Sirius marked the flooding of the Nile in ancient Egypt and the dog days of summer for the ancient Greeks. So you may be asking yourself, this is all cool, Nicholas, but how does this relate to me? Well, this is all about being yourself and shining. There are two different star cards that I could have picked, the star itself or the sun. But given all of the energy here about summer and about the alignment of the star Sirius to the sun is the perfect connection for this. And also it carries with it something kind of cool, which is it's a playful card. The Six of Cups would have that same playful energy because they're children, and so does the Sun. It's one of the child cards here in tarot. The Fool has it as well, and we'll be talking about that in a moment. But all of this is coming through to remind you that when you're able and willing to not necessarily be so serious about everything in your life, let people see that you have a sense of humor, that you're willing to put yourself out there, even if everything isn't perfect, then it endears them to you. This isn't saying that you can't prepare, that you aren't going to take yourself seriously and professionally, but it does mean that you're going to show a different facet of yourself in addition to that. And so the more you can share that part of your personality, be a little bit bolder, be a little bit more playful, the better this next week is going to be for you, because people are going to have fun being around you. And that in and of itself is a very attractive, a very magnetic trait. All right, let's go ahead now and move on to the next slide here. And we're going to talk here about the dog. So Sirius is Orion's companion. What card better illustrates that than the Fool? There are none actually in the major arcana, so that's why I chose this. So basically the star represents loyalty. It represents taking a leap of faith as well. And it could also be a companion coming into your life as well. It could be love, friendship, or some other partnership. You may be asked to take a leap of faith into the unknown. You might also be asked to follow someone that you love into uncharted territory. No matter how you slice it, this week is a time of beginnings and change. And if we went back a couple of slides, it would also be about that gentle unfurling that we were talking about with the Queen of the Night cactus, where there's this brief opportunity, and it is calling on you, just like the Fool card, to say, let's do this. Are you ready? So if we kind of take a look at each of these symbols that I also pulled in tarot, the Ace of Wands, planting something new, a new start. The Sun, having fun while you're embracing this energy of the unknown. And then the Fool, just going with the flow of energy and seeing where it takes you. That leap of faith is going to be really important. All right, let's move now into this next slide and just make sure that we've hit on all of the major points of Sirius the star. As I said earlier, it's called Alpha Canis Majoris, or the dog star. It's the brightest star in the night sky. For this particular slide, I chose the star card in tarot to illustrate that you may be asked to step into the spotlight. After all of these sort of subtle energies play out, then there's a moment where it's going to be not so subtle, but you've been set up, the growth has happened. That gentle unfurling that I've been talking about, it's all taken place, but there may be one more piece to this puzzle, which is you have to see the change too. The interesting thing with this, there is partnerships and there are energies around you that are working because Sirius is part of a binary star system. It has a smaller white dwarf that's in its periphery, and if I remember from my research, it's an erratic orbit, so it's kind of unusual. But what I like about this is that there is support, there is help, there is partnership. Everything that we've been looking at today is about growth, and we've had a couple of cards showing partnership. The Fool card had it, and this particular card here, we're talking about the star. The star is magnetic in and of itself, so is the sun. So everything that I see, you're pulling in new things. It could be people and opportunities, resources, ideas. It's really up to you how receptive you are and how open you are to this sort of incoming energy. But for the first time in a while, I'm really excited about the next 7 days. I can't wait to see where it takes us. So without any further delay, let's get into the 7-day forecast. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We have 2 that came through Wednesday, so I'm going to honor that. Thursday, Friday, and let's take a look at next weekend. Saturday and Sunday. All right, so let's get everything lined up here and let's talk about what's coming through. We're going to start with today, beautifully aligned to what we were talking about. So again, if you just joined, we're taking a look now at the next 7 days here from Sunday to Sunday. This card indicates today's Sunday, and we have the sun. So I actually love that it's showing up exactly as itself. The sun in reverse is showing that for some of you, this is a day where you really have to focus on self-care and nurturing, because the sun card is the baby in tarot. And here we can see this sort of like gentle dove being as careful as maybe a newborn bird, or this sort of gentle energy, again, of unfurling. So if there's something new that's happening in your life, and if you're still trying to feel like, can I do this? Can I get out of the nest? Can I spread my wings? This card is coming through today to say, this is about taking that first step. There may also be someone in your life that needs a little bit more time and energy from you. And one of the things that you want to do with the sun card in reverse is to remember that sometimes it isn't our job to be everybody's parent. We have to make sure that there's balance. So there's going to be some boundary issues that enter in today, where you give as much as you're willing or able, and then you focus again on making sure that you're also asking for the support that you need. Not always easy to do. We've been trained to just give, and it's hard to ask for what you need. But today, that inner child is coming out loud and clear saying, I need to be heard, I need to take care of myself, it's my turn as well. And that is valid. When I'm reading for you one-on-one like this, it's okay for a Queen of Pentacles or a Sun card or a Star card to be reversed sometimes, because it's saying, I have to figure out who I am, what I'm about, I need to take care of myself, I need to find my footing. And once you do that, then this card is going to go in the upright position. And everything that you've been setting yourself up for, you're going to be able to really enjoy. So focus today on meeting the needs that you have, making sure that other people know what it is that you need for them to show up successfully. And don't be afraid to ask for whatever it is that you need. It's hard to do, but today it's really, really important. So what I do love about this card, though, is it's also a card of gentle birthing or rebirthing energy here. So this is a day for you to begin something brand new, and you'll have great success as you start to plant those seeds. All right, let's move on to Monday. The energy for Monday is pretty darn good, I have to say. I'll take the Nine of Pentacles anywhere that it shows up, even if it's reversed. The upright version of this is showing a sustainable energy, an independent energy, and one where whatever it is that you're setting out to do, you will finish. The reversal of this card shows a challenge. A lot of times it's a challenge of accepting help or asking for help. It can also be a challenge with patience, because There's usually a snail on this card, and it takes time to get to that Nine of Pentacles moment. And we just want it all right now, right? It's especially true with the internet. It's one of the best inventions of, recent history, but it's also changed our ability to be patient with ambiguity, with growth, with healing. And take it from me, because I'm, let's see if I can get it in here. I have a cast on my foot right now, and you just want things healed, right? Immediately whenever something isn't the way it should be. But that's not how time works. That's not how the body works. That's not how energy works. So when you detach a little bit from that and focus on other things, that's when you're going to start to see the movement, the growth, and the development that you're looking for. The good news for you is that whatever it is that you seek, it's much closer than you might anticipate. The Nine of Pentacles is near completion, okay? So I would say the main thing for you to focus on is, what are you trying to do? Is there an area where someone else could maybe help, where you could delegate? Again, going back into the energy of what we're looking at for today, opening up and realizing that it's okay for you to be taken care of too. And then accepting that help on Monday is going to really put you in the right position here. The Devil card coming through reversed on Tuesday. I actually always like the Devil or the Tower reversed, because to me, these are you seeing a situation and being in a position of empowerment. So let's talk about the Devil reversed and how you can actually make this an amazing Tuesday. So the Devil reverse is the opposite of having your strings pulled. It's the opposite of being lied to. You are aware of what's going on. And even if one of these things is happening, you know how to fix it, how to get out of it, or you're ready to speak up. So basically, it's a card of revelation. It's a card of empowerment, not sort of disenfranchising energy. And it's basically saying, I've had enough. So have you had enough? Because what's going on here, the interesting thing is the Devil is always a lower version of the Lovers. So what happens a lot of times with the Devil is we can be disappointed because someone didn't show up the way they wanted to, or we wanted them to rather. Or there's been a promise made that hasn't been kept. Even for ourselves, we wanted to do something, but we weren't accountable for it. The good news on Tuesday is it's all laid out. It's in black and white. You start to see what you need to deal with. The question is, what are you going to do? How are you going to fix this? Whenever the Devil card comes up, either upright or reversed, I would always advise you to be honest, to be transparent, and also to really ask yourself that tough question, am I ready to deal with this from an accountability issue as well? Now, if there's anyone in your life and there's too many strings attached to something, then this is a day where you definitely do not want to agree to doing something that isn't mutually beneficial. So I would say on Tuesday, great day for self-care, of course. It's a great day to have a difficult conversation if it needs to be had. There are days that are better during the week. I actually think Monday would be better. If we look really quickly here, if you really want to get ahead of the Devil energy, I would do it today on Sunday or tomorrow on Monday. Those are going to be the best 2 days of the week. But sometimes we have to just say, this isn't working, and we dissolve something that isn't working. So if that's what you're going to do, you can do that. I would say that kind of coming up with a plan and really getting yourself comfortable with what the next step is, that's probably going to be the most effective and efficient way to work with that energy on Tuesday. Now, there's something completely different that has nothing to do with things that have happened. This can also be a card of limiting thoughts. So if you're trying to create something, and we have the birthing energy coming through on Sunday, and we have this developmental energy on Monday, then don't limit what it could be. Because I love how this is all up in the Devil's sort of crown chakra area. So sometimes those limiting thoughts take space or take residence here in our crown, and they block us from our potential. The Devil will take a block wherever it can make one. And in this particular card, it's really showing up here in the head space. So what are examples of limiting thoughts? I can't do this. It won't happen. I never have luck with this. They're never going to see me as being able to do this. Whatever. It's can't, won't, never. Let's get those out of our energy and instead say, I'm ready to begin a new phase. And by the way, I can't help but look at these two travel cards that come after whatever's happening here, which we'll look at in just a second. So you are in the process of having a breakthrough, transitioning from one state to another, And I see some beautiful openings for you as we get through the latter part of the week. For whatever reason, it looks like Tuesday and Wednesday are the days where the breakthrough happens, and everything takes a turn for the better on Wednesday. Look at the two tens that we got here. We got the 10 of swords, and then we got the 10 of pentacles. So this is what it looks like. This is what it is. So something has to fall away for you to be able to see the blessing beneath it. This can also say you're dealing with a challenging person or situation. You go into that worst case scenario like it's never going to work out. But all of a sudden, someone comes through and it's almost too good to be true. You have to pinch yourself, but they're there to help you, hold your hand, or show you the path. Like, hey, have you thought about this? Or you should call this person. Or don't worry, I've been through this before. This is how I dealt with it. So I see a silver lining in whatever this is. Don't let it freak you out on Tuesday, especially not on Wednesday. And we actually get the key to success here. It's to reach out to a friend, a family member, a teacher, someone really close to you, because the 10 of Pentacles is already in your network. And that's going to make the difference. And I do see something beautiful coming through this. And sometimes we have to go through that dark night of the soul, that challenging moment. Sometimes we have to lose something before we see what else is around us. So basically, there's a little bit of a reset that happens between Tuesday and Wednesday, but pretty quickly, by the end of the day, Wednesday, you feel better. Now we have two cards that show you have some choices on Thursday and Friday. The 8 of Cups is saying, take a break. If you have like sick leave or vacation days saved up, then take a break, because this card is one of making and breaking cycles, of taking that necessary leave, like a sabbatical or a vacation or holiday. And what it does is it gives you perspective, because some of this energy is still in your headspace a little bit, which is, it can be trauma, drama, and the sort of residual limiting thoughts that we got here from the Devil card. If you can get out into nature in any way, shape, or form, fantastic. If you can just take a day and do something for your body, like acupuncture, massage therapy, chiropractor, whatever it takes, yoga, meditation, do something to sort of like metaphysically bring you away from the situation so you can get that bird's eye perspective. You're going to be able, by the end of Thursday, to come back and look at something with a fresh set of eyes. And then and only then should you really make your decision. This is a card that allows for the door to be open. So one of the things that's really important to look at is these two cards are like very binary. It's like one or the other, black and white. This card is saying it doesn't have to be like that. I don't have to sort of like, me moving in this direction doesn't mean rejection of you or me. And so this is taking the high road. And you might want to focus on trying to leave a bridge intact so that in the future, if you need to work with someone, if you need to call someone, there's not that sense of stress and anger. So better to leave some of these things unsaid. And that's what we actually see here. You could go down this path, which would just be to say everything on your mind and not edit it and not think about it. Or you could try to remember, you know what, we're going to agree to disagree on this. I'm going to go my own path, my own way. And I realize that there may be some things that I can't fix, right? There may be some things in your life around you that you can't change people's minds. You can't make them go down a path that they don't want to. And sometimes the strongest thing and the best thing to do is to move on and to go your own way. And that brings us into the energy of Friday. So by the way, travel is a big component to success. Distance, getting perspective, it's almost like the same energy for Thursday and Friday. Friday's a little bit more punctuated. With Friday, this energy is definitely saying if you can travel, move, or do something different, you're supposed to be moving in another direction. This is also the card of moving on energetically. There are grieving cards in tarot, and the Six of Swords is a very empowered and a very active card. Four of Swords, time heals everything, and that's sort of showing that after several months, years, or decades, you don't think about a loss anymore. The Six of Swords is saying, I am going to take active sort of role in my life of moving beyond this. I don't need to stay here. I'm going to extricate myself and move in this direction. I'm going to focus my energy on something constructive. That in and of itself is going to also help me move on. It can also be a choice for travel. So if everything's good in your life, this is saying do something to reach out. You could meet someone, because we had all of those messages around partnership, when we were looking at Sirius, the dog star, and when we were looking at the sun card and the star itself, they're all magnetic energies. So if you get out there, this is a really great day to meet other people. Set your sights on the horizon. Brighter days are ahead, and we see that really nicely illustrated in this beautiful Six of Swords card. Now let's take a look at next weekend, and I'm really excited about where this is all taking you, because you only really have 2 days that are kind of challenging, but by the time you get to next weekend, it's all roses basically. We've got an Ace of Pentacles for Saturday, then we have the King of Pentacles coming through for Sunday. We'll start with the Ace. So couldn't ask for more energy around growth and development and movement than the Ace of Pentacles. I chose the Ace of Wands, but either one is the same. The Ace of Pentacles is literally a seed, or it can also be sort of money or resources. So you're going to have a chance to take something and invest or move or adjust it on Saturday. You may be asked to sign a contract. Someone may come forward to you and offer you something, but it's up to you. You can always decide, do I want to take this or do I want to leave it? Usually the Ace of Swords is more about the signature of the contract. The Ace of Pentacles is more about consideration. So someone may simply say, are you in or are you out? This can also be a proposal or being asked out. So there could be something really fun socially happening on Saturday. I like the energy wherever it's taking you, because by the time we get to Sunday, it puts you in a position of power, King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles in its upright position is about house, home, money, resources, and abundance. The reversal of this is saying, again, I need to focus on these areas of my life. So look at your finances, look at your relationships, look at your health as well. Whatever you feel like you want to invest in and put energy and attention there, that's what this card is about. So this is your day to really pamper yourself. I saw Tuesday being one day, but as we look at Sunday, it's coming back again. So practice good self-care on those 2 days. Let's highlight and kind of look at the 7-day forecast again before we move into the next portion of the forecast. So today's energy, Sunday, looking good. This is about making sure that you ask for whatever it is that you need. As we look at Monday, very productive energy, great day. The only limiting energy could be about being afraid to delegate, ask for help, or be open to different ideas, because it's a fiercely independent card. Tuesday is the one day of the week that could present the most challenges. It could just be a limiting thought, and that's easy to deal with. You just walk yourself out of that and say, why not? Or what am I going to do about this? Or you can educate yourself and do some research. There could be a contract, and you'll know it when you see it that you don't want to sign. There may be someone that you have to talk to because they're not showing up the way that you need them to show up. And it's just a reminder for you to be accountable. There's a fork in the road that happens midweek. We want to take the high road. All of these, look at how people are focused on the horizon, and look at how in the Ten of Swords, the person is focused on the past or the failure of the present. Let's keep our eyes focused on what is still within reach, what you can do, where you're headed, not on one person or one thing that didn't go the way you wanted it to. Because we have 10 of Pentacles, 8 of Cups, and the 6 of Swords coming through, showing movement of resources, new perspective, and new horizons, new people coming in as well, new cyclical resets. And then next weekend, it looks great because you could have new ideas, new resources coming in, new partnerships coming in, and you're probably just going to want to do something for yourself. But overall, the energy starts to go in a really positive trajectory. The King of Pentacles also has a green thumb. Anything that he touches, we're going to see growth on. That's why you see all these vines and all this green energy all around him. So I feel like by the time we're talking next weekend, you're going to feel like this new energetic push into something really, really exciting and engaging. So I can't wait to see where that takes us. All right, let's revisit the format for today. We're going to move on next to the blessings and the blocks. Let me just get all of the cards lined up here so that we have a little bit more real estate on the table to take a look at this. And we'll maybe continue to use this deck because it's beautiful and it actually looks really nice on this table. So I might continue to use this for the blessings and the blocks, and then we'll shift it up when we go into the elemental forecast. All right, let's give the cards a nice shuffle here and see what energy is coming through for your blessing. The Death card, which is change, and let's take a look at the block. The Fool, which is also change. So it's really about how you're adjusting to or embracing change. So again, we're looking at blessings and blocks for the next 7 days. And it's two sides of the same coin, but very different energies when we look at the different elements of change. So the blessing is, guess what? Change is upon you. Change is afoot. And we have the Death card coming through here with basically this beautiful power symbol. If you ever look at the gown on this particular card, we see the Ankh symbol from ancient Egypt, which is about eternal life. It reminds us that even as we move through a loss, even as we move through a transition, our energy remains consistent. And even when we walk off this earthly plane back into spirit, all of the memories, all of the energy that we kind of gathered in this life experience continues with us. So this is a point on a continuum, and we have to just remember our power and that ability to continue to persist. One thing that I've been telling everybody as I've been going through all of my life challenges is I just keep showing up. I show up for you and I show up for myself. And some days are better than others, but as we look at the sort of like continuum, I'm happy with life and I'm happy with where I'm headed. And my advice for you is to keep showing up. You never know what tomorrow is going to bring, okay? Today may seem really intense. Tomorrow may be amazing. So embrace the energy of change. The more you're open to what it could bring you, the more inviting, the more powerful, the more sort of engaging life becomes, and you become as well in this process, okay? So remember, with every end comes a beginning, and I think that's the block here, is that some of you may just be afraid to start fresh. I love this Fool because she's not bothered by this. She's saying, I've got this. She's also carrying with her the blossom, the flower from death, which is the rose. Interesting, though, that I chose the Sirius cactus, which is also a white blossom that blooms at night. And the energy of death is a very sort of nocturnal energy. And so what we're seeing here is this ability to say, I'm going to be okay. The change has already happened. I just need to take it one step at a time, okay? You're not alone. I've never noticed in this deck, but the little dog is way in the background. Look at that cute little puppy back there. And just like Apollo's holding some space back here, you don't know where that next sort of helping hand may be, that next opportunity may take you. So don't be blocked by the idea that it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of time. You don't know that. Open yourself up. We talked about this over the past week with several of my readings, but open up to the idea that it could be better than anticipated. This could be easier than you thought. This could be the best thing ever. So change is afoot, and basically all you have to do is stay open to the idea that this could be really, really positive for you. All right, so let's take a look at what's next. We just did the 7-day forecast, blessings and blocks. Let's move on to the elements. If I forgot to mention it earlier, and I think I did, everything that you see here is for the collective, obviously because I call this a collective reading. I do break down one part of this for the elements, and that's this portion. So we're going to take a look now at the elemental forecast, looking at fire, earth, air, and water. So let me take a look here. I haven't used this deck in a while. I'm going to use Tarot of the Divine for this portion, and then we'll move on to the next piece after that. So let me get the cards out, and we'll give this a good shuffle. All right, so here we go, taking a look at all the different elements. Fire, earth, air, and water. Okay, we'll do one by one and talk about this. So beginning with the fire, all fire signs here, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. This week for you is going to be filled with change, and this is really close to the blessings and the blocks. The Tower upright comes through when we need to face something. Oftentimes, we've seen warning signs, we've had opportunities, but maybe we've dragged our feet, maybe we've just not been ready. So this week, the Tower comes through to say, let's firm up the foundations. If there's something you've been needing to do, this is the time to do it. Even if it's inconvenient, even if it seems a little messy at first, it's going to get better. So basically, this is a cleanup week. Sometimes if I'm reading, and this, depending on its placement, I can see that there could be messiness in thoughts, planning, organization, or space. So for some of you, it could just be as easy as getting organized. Having someone in your life that's really good at that, whether that's their job as a professional organizer or there's someone like a project manager, have that person come in and make some sense of the chaos. Remember that not only in my channeled messages, but also in the energy for today, for Sunday, you got the sun. And the sun, at the beginning of our solar system, was that sort of central force that brought order in that dusty accretion disk, which is like I was talking to a sign earlier this week. It's like a big frisbee filled with rocks and dust and clouds. The sun started to create organization within that. So because we're seeing that for today, I would say Sunday is a great day to sit down and map things out. Once you can kind of pick up all the pieces and figure out what is it that I want to focus on the most, you feel empowered, you feel ready. Remember that sometimes things need to fall apart or fall away in order for you to be able to make that fresh new start. So don't be worried about this. I often refer to the tower as a sort of like a wave for those of you that might surf. And when the tower comes through, we have to surf the wave of change. Like it or leave it, you've got to go with it. So today, see where the change brings you. Stay open, stay organized, and remember that you are the sun. You have the capacity to make this better. And as long as you do that, it's going to be an empowering week ahead for you. And I think you're going to have a clearer mind by the end of the week as well. This is coming through to help you clear things out. The other thing is it's one of the most powerful cards. As a reader, I really love it when I get clear cards like Death or the Tower or the Ten of Swords, because it shows me an area where you can really make a change. So all my fire signs, by the time you look at next Sunday, you should be in a completely different state, mentally, energetically, or perhaps even you've moved into something new in your life. So that's exciting. Just stay organized and stay positive this week, and the Tower energy will follow that, okay? Let's move on to Earth signs. This is going to be for Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. For you, the word that comes to mind is motivation as I look at this. So the card is the Five of Wands, and we see people here working really hard, but not necessarily working cooperatively. Sometimes it's competitively, but like not necessarily for the best reasons. It's just sort of like showing up and basically letting people know that you're working really hard, but it may not necessarily be, as we were talking about, organized or pointed, or maybe there's even some overlap happening. A lot of times when the Five of Wands comes through, we have people that are doubling down and doing the same thing. So what can you do in the Five of Wands? Well, sometimes there's a chance for you to step through and be the leader, for you to raise your hand and also be the person that can bring some order to the chaos. You didn't get the Tower, but you got a card where people aren't really tuned in, and it can lead to that sort of energy. So work smarter, not necessarily harder. Try to find a way to work collaboratively rather than competitively. And also remember what it is that you're working for. I think that's the biggest opportunity, honestly, with the Five of Wands. Why are you doing what you're doing? In any situation, whether it is a love relationship, a project at work, some sort of home improvement or whatever, what was the original purpose for this? Get back into that energy of being goal-oriented and looking at the horizon, and try to get everyone on the same page. It's the most important thing. Take a break if you can, because this can lead to burnout. And the interesting thing is you're really close to success, one wand away from the Six of Wands. But a lack of cooperation, a lack of focus, and a lack of energy can kind of lead you down a diminishing return track. So get some perspective. Remember what we were looking at when we saw Thursday and Friday, the Eight of Cups and the Six of Swords, basically saying that that separation is going to help you figure out what it is to do next in this path for yourself, okay? But overall, this is still a productive card. You're going to get a lot done, and there is a lot to do. So that's why it's important for you to find that vitality and that focus. And that's the message for my Earth signs. Let's move on to all of the air signs here, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. You're actually sitting in a really good position here. This is connected with the energy that we saw in the same position, also reversed. So next Sunday, we got the King of Pentacles, and you also got the King of Pentacles here. So King of Pentacles reversed. A reminder this week that you should be focusing on house, home, finances, your own sort of health and well-being, and then deciding what do you want to do for yourself. You might be moving around some resources too. You might decide to take some money from savings and buy something. You might liquidate something that you have as an investment, or you might decide to sell something like a house or a car. But basically, you are the one driving the ship. You're the one deciding what it is and calling the shots. And when you do that, it's actually going to create more stability, more sense of empowerment, and it's going to put you back on top wherever it is that you're trying to get. So the King of Pentacles in reverse is showing me positive movement, but you really do have to take ownership and make sure that you're taking care of yourself. So all of those self-care notes that we talked about, especially coming through loud and clear for all of my air signs out there. So take a day off, focus on diet and exercise, do a spa day or something if you need to. Take care of you. The more you take care of yourself, the more you're going to be able to take care of others. And this is a maternal paternal card. So when it's reversed, it's saying if you've been constantly focusing on the needs of others, you can't let yourself go because they're depending on you. All right. Finally, let's take a look at all of the water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Yours is sort of a shifting of perspective here. We have the Four of Cups. I always like to look at this as a blessing in disguise. Typically, I'll see if I can find it here. Typically, there's a floating ace in the sky with this. And basically what's happening sometimes is your expectation could be firmly set that something needs to show up a certain way. So if you're looking for love, maybe you have a certain type and you think that it's only going to be that type or that age or some sort of walk of life. But the person that comes in would be different. You may also think that you're only able to do one job or one task, but the universe comes in and says, hey, have you thought about this? I think the traditional illustration is a little stronger than this because it shows the sort of resistance that we often have when this happens. So you see the person, we'll zoom in a little bit on him, and he's sort of like, but that's not the way that I thought it would be. That's not how I imagined it. The universe is coming through saying, but I still prepared something beautiful for you. Give it a try, give it a taste, see how this fits. Here the ace is in the background, and it's the bird kind of gently whispering and saying, have you thought about this? Why not try this? And in this one, again, you can definitely see it looks like an ace from Rider-Waite-Smith. If we took everything else out, if I can get this right, this would just be the ace, right? So you have an opportunity, but it's different than you thought. And in this moment in time, I'm just encouraging you to give it a shot. See where it takes you, see how you feel about it, and see if at the end of the day, you're not surprised at how rewarding this could be, okay? And those are the messages that we got for all of our elements. All right, let's take a look at the next piece here. So we just went through the elemental forecast. Today, we're just gonna do a reader's choice. So I'm going to take a look at all of these energies and see what it is that I actually really think it's the energy of change that we need to focus on, because the Death card, the Fool card, the Tower card, they're all carrying with them basically change. And so let's focus on what the change should be for you, and then we'll move into the next portion. All right, so one card for change, and let's see where that takes us. So the energy for change today is about the Knight of Wands. Knights are fearless and they are active and they are basically unafraid to move something to the next stage. So you may find yourself wondering, how do I fix this? What do I do about this? What a knight would do is basically start Googling, start talking, start basically laying down the sort of foundational energy to bring something into fruition. So today, get on the telephone, send an email to somebody, or figure out if somebody else has gone through the sort of change that you have. By talking to them, by educating yourself about the possibilities, by just looking into a space that you haven't looked before, you're going to feel this sense of empowerment. and it is going to move things forward, okay? And this is an active card, so at the end of the day, you are your own best agent of change. Wands have to do with development of ideas. So the other thing that you could do is talk to someone, a mentor, a specialist, an expert, and bounce back and forth your ideas and see if you can basically take it to the next level. You're very close. We're going to go from a knight to a queen. So I feel like maybe all you need is a little bit of a confidence booster and a little bit more information, a nudge in the right direction, and you're going to be surprised at what this next leap of faith could bring. But this is basically saying the one and only thing that you can do is move toward the change. You can't recede, you can't move away from the change. I have an idea for what I'm going to focus on for the viewer's choice. Since we had a dead tie in the general poll on calling in high frequency relationships, let's pull a card for that as well today. We'll still have a chance for that to be the special topic in the future, but just to kind of help all the folks that wanted to find out what's going on with that, let's pull one card for advice on calling in high frequency relationships and how interesting. I love working with different decks and especially with reversals, because when we get duplicate reversals in different decks, it's very telling. So this is saying right here and right now, there was a reason today that everyone pushed the focus on instead increasing self-worth and net worth, because that's the block, folks. We have the Devil card coming through for high frequency relationships, and it's saying there is a limiting thought or a limiting idea. There could also be something from the past or environmentally that's holding you back. So we're going to focus on that today. And in a way, we're going to set ourselves up in the future so we can actually read that energy. So this is basically saying we're spot on today. There could be something that's limiting. There could be something that's pulling you back a little bit. But I'm going to talk about just a couple of brief notes here before we go into the special topic here. The Devil reverse is saying, you shouldn't accept anything less than the best, especially if there's someone in your life that is unavailable. So let's say you've met at inconvenient times where someone's getting out of a relationship or they're still in a relationship. The Devil is coming through to say this isn't the best use of your time and energy. You want to walk away from that. There could be someone that just isn't ready to commit. They could be single, but they aren't looking for partnership or marriage, or they're sort of working on themselves right now. And this could also be a limiting thought within yourself that you may not be ready, willing, or able to love or receive love. And this is about a reset. So as we're looking at increasing self-worth and net worth today, I really feel like it's going to help clear up some of that energy. So in the future, when we look at that topic, this won't even be an issue. So I love it when we get a synchronicity, and that's basically what we see here. Last and final message here is to focus on unconditional love and to release any sort of need to control other people, and to also let them kind of focus on themselves if they're trying to control you. Okay? Beautiful, synchronistic, universal sort of energy coming through saying we're right on track. All right, we're now going to move on to our special topic for today. And as I said, today's special topic is all about increasing your self-worth, which is then going to help your net worth. What do I mean by that? I mean that the more you value yourself, the less you have sort of any sort of inner child issues from the past, the more people can see you as that beautiful resplendent star or sun card that we were talking about earlier. And even that came through for today's energy. So I really want to get you into that feeling like I am worth all of this and then some, so that we can open up love, abundance, and opportunity in the coming days and weeks for you. All right, let me go ahead and stack all of these cards up, and we're going to get into the next portion of the forecast. So this special topic will basically be with us for the next week, but there is a sort of timeless energy with this. Usually whenever I pull any Celtic cross, honestly, it can take you through 6 to 8 weeks if you watch any of my monthly readings. So there's no reason that this couldn't help you through 6 to 8 weeks whenever you're dealing with the energy or the feeling of, I wish I could increase my self-worth. I wish I could get over this. How can I get past this block so that I feel stronger and more prepared? All right, let's go ahead now, shuffle the cards, and take a look and see what the energy is in past, present, future, and all around to kind of help you with self-worth. All right, I'm going to be quiet for a moment while I pull all the cards, and then we'll move into the special topic. So many beautiful synchronicities with that death card as well. Very cool to see that coming through. Okay, we got 2 cards here for the outcome, so we'll honor that. Let me just shift everything over a little bit so we have space for the oracle cards. All right, let's take a look, folks, at everything coming through. We're going to start off with your catalyst card first. We have a beautiful message here. It says, be the bridge, expand your consciousness to behold both worlds. And how appropriate is it that right by this, let me take myself off for a second. So right by this, we actually have the death card, which is all about being able to bridge the gap for many of you. So I would say in this moment in time, you may be the one person that is capable of seeing how something can go from this state to another. Because what is death? Ultimately, it's transformation. And if I were to develop a deck, that would definitely be one of the names on it. It's or like different decks, you'll see death and rebirth, but I think transformation, when I wrote about it in my book, that's the preferred moniker that I would use as well. It's alchemic, it's powerful, and it's less scary. And also, we would see this sort of bridge between what's clear and present and the liminal sort of world here. So you are in that fuzzy zone of creation, and you are seeing things that haven't yet sort of come into fruition or being. So you're going to have to be able to paint the picture for people around you. And one of the things that this has to do with your own self-worth is you can see it before others can. And I could see what I was about to do in my life before others could. And I was talking in one of my signs about the lack of imagination that a family member had. And instead of getting angry, I just kind of pulled away and thought, that's okay. They'll eventually come along for the journey, or they won't. And it's not a big deal. So if you can see it but others can't, it's okay. Walk across that bridge, create what it is that you want to create. And they're either going to take the bridge with you, or they're going to walk on their own path. They're going to go their own way, okay? You are exactly where you need to be right now. And you are valid in your vision for what is possible. And you've always been able to see the potential. So don't let a teacher or parent in particular steal that vision from you. It's valid, it's yours. Don't let a partner or a coworker or a friend come in and sprinkle some salt on that and make you feel like it can't happen. It can happen, all right? And that's the most important thing here, is that you have the vision far beyond and you know, before anyone else can see it. So you're going to be the bridge between what's possible and what's happening right now. Let's go into your center card. So we have the 9 of Wands in reverse. Look at how this is also a very subtle transformation card. Some of you are finally coming back. This is like a bouncing back card after people have emotionally, energetically, psychologically sort of beaten down your ideas or your thought process. But you are the comeback king or queen, and that really is the beautiful energy of the Nine of Wands. This particular card illustrates it perhaps even better than the Rider-Waite-Smith. I don't feel the need to go to that one. But in the Rider-Waite-Smith, we see the bandage, and that shows that you've survived. This one shows energetically that all of those moments actually made you stronger, more empathetic, and more sympathetic to the world at large. And sometimes you have to go through heartache or setback in order to become the strong person that you are today. Don't let someone force you into something. The Nine of Wands in reverse, just like the Ten of Wands in reverse, can indicate someone in your life that's a little pushy. Perhaps someone that really knows how and where to push your buttons. And in this moment in time, you're going to say, no, that doesn't work anymore. And I am ready now to rise up. And this is your moment to rise up and bounce back. Your story is not over. An exciting new chapter is about ready to begin for you. And all you have to do is decide to take a different path, okay? Crossing this, we have the Princess of Discs, which is a page in this particular set of cards. And a page has to be open and oftentimes finds themselves in the middle. So one of the challenging things for you, some of you may be the middle child, some of you may be in a role at work where you're like an administrative assistant, or you could be the peacemaker in life for others. And this is reminding you that not only is this, I always look at the page role as mediums, right? So those of us that do what I do, sometimes we come through not just as the high priestess, but a page, because we're sending and receiving messages, and that's basically what a page does. Know that you have a super important role if you are the middle person, because just like a translator would need to take one message and make sure it's being conveyed to the other person perfectly and with the original context intact, you have to do the same thing. And you have this sort of ability to use your voice, use your skills, and present things in a way that everybody can understand. That's powerful. Use that to your advantage right now. Use your ability to frame things up in a way that is meaningful and acceptable to others, and allow for this to help you set up the next path for yourself. Ask for something if you need it. You can get it. Writing a proposal, even though we don't have an Ace of Swords, you would need the Princess of Discs, again, even a Princess of Swords. You would need the Princess of Discs cards to make this happen. So this is basically showing facts, figures, and grounded energy on like why someone should want to invest in you. You can do this right now. Set it up. Figure out how you're going to pitch an idea or present something to someone. You will be surprised. This is something that I've actually seen in this retrograde. If I just ask a question, if I just propose something, and I walk away from the idea that someone may not like it or may not respond, I have been getting so much response and so much positivity that I'm considering like permanently just thinking anything is possible. Like don't get attached too much to the success or the failure. Always be open to something fantastic happening instead. So I want you to think of something fantastic and just let it go, let it fly and see what happens. And you may be surprised. And you definitely have that capacity right now to open things up in a way that is unconventional, unusual, and it could surprise you as well. Deep past. We have the Three of Cups, a desire to want to fit in. You want other people to celebrate your success, to celebrate who you are. You know what? A lot of times, friends and family, they just lack the capacity to be able to sometimes just be happy for other people, but sometimes understand who you are and to kind of like celebrate who you are, where you are, as you are. And you know what? It's okay. It's nice to get that sort of external success and acknowledgement is the word I was looking for there, but you don't necessarily need it, okay? We're also looking at commitment being a big question here. So in the deep past, some of you have been maybe wavering a little bit on, is this what I want? And some of that is because maybe you were pushed into a path because it was socially accepted. This is a card of peer pressure and family pressure sometimes. So remember, whatever you're doing right now, it should be happening because it feels really engaging and really appropriate for you. because it's what you've always wanted, right? And so don't do something for someone else's approval or happiness, or because they've put on some peer pressure here, because that's what we're seeing with these two cards connected. You're worth whatever it is that you want to do. Let's move on to recent past. And this is something that's been affecting many of you within the past couple of months here as we're looking at this. So we have the Eight of Cups. It's in reverse. And this is my favorite, bar none, my favorite card for Eight of Cups. Remember, we got this in the 7-day forecast as well. I believe it was around Thursday, right? Because we had Eight of Cups and then we had the Six of Swords for Friday. So this is coming through, and it could be attached to this week, to this Thursday. And it's saying, in order for me to grow, to discover something new, to really have that sense of fulfillment, I have to go in my own direction. And if I take this leap of faith, who knows where it could lead? And what we see with this is, if you're willing to invest in yourself, try something new, flex and kind of go in a direction that you haven't, yes, it's going to lead to exciting new horizons. So there is this call for you to explore. So there is no accident, that earlier I was pulling the Fool card in the channeled messages, because that is the beginning of something new. It's the page turning card of the major arcana. The Eight of Cups is saying, I can walk away from this with the bridge, and let me move my face here, with the bridge open. I don't have to burn a bridge. Remember, I was also saying, was it Wednesday that had the 10 of Swords and the 10 of Pentacles? This is the day where you don't have to burn the bridge. This is the day where you are the bridge. You're moving towards change. And if we just kind of fast forward, there's some beautiful stuff that starts to happen here when you're able to embrace the change. So you see the possibility first. You decide on the path that it is that you want to take. You leave the door open just in case you change your mind, or someone needs you, or you want to go and revisit something. So you don't have to have a falling out. You don't have to argue with someone if they can't see something. You're just going to go in the direction that you need to go because it feels good for you, because it allows for growth, and because it's calling to you, okay? Jupiter is my favorite planet to see in dreams and meditations. I always see the green energy, and I recently tweeted something from the Webb telescope where they were showing the Aurora Borealis, and there was a lot of green energy on that particular photo. So that made sense, because I'm like, where's the green? Whenever I meditate, I'm always seeing this. I mean, it symbolizes growth, but there's also some actual green energy around it as well. So know this, you're definitely connected to this expansive, and for some of you, it's also going to be in the heart space, this healing energy, and it comes by taking your own path and going in your own direction. By far, one of my favorite cards in this whole deck by Rachel True, and also just one of my favorite Eight of Cups. I think it's beautiful. I always get excited when it comes through. You're on the precipice of expansion. Who doesn't want to hear that or see that when you're looking at your spread? This is the gateway card. This is what's going to help you. It's in the crowning position. It's the keystone to the necessary change. Death reverse is saying it's time to walk away from anything in your life that has left you feeling like you're stagnating. And it's also reminding you, like we're peeling back layer after layer. It's almost like a Russian doll, that the further you go, the more you realize we're getting into that cosmic self. This is a facade. We go a layer deeper, all the organs and everything. That's just the mechanics of this. We are so much more than that. And this card is reminding you of the eternal nature of who you are. So the other death card showed the Ankh, and this is basically showing that it's just like a curtain, it's just a facade, and we last beyond this physical vessel. So there's something in your life, material, there's something in your life, tangible, that you feel like if this goes away, what happens to me? And death comes through saying, it's just a beginning, my friend. It's nothing to fear. You've gone through this in every lifetime. And you can get through this too, because this isn't really talking necessarily about a physical transformation. It's talking about something that feels really like, oh, I want this blanket around me. I want to hold on to it. But the minute you let go of it, you're able to truly embrace who you are and see who you are. So don't be afraid of the necessary change or movement in your life. It's just something that's going to be like a hiccup. It'll go away after a little bit, but it feels like it's really annoying as you're going through it, okay? If there's any person, place, or thing in your life where you feel like I'm putting too much energy and I'm not seeing a return, death reverse is saying that's the first place you want to focus on balancing it out or walking away from that if you need to. This has served its purpose. Someone or something has served its higher purpose, and death came through to say, you are the agent of change in this. I'm not taking it away, but it's stagnating. So let's try to walk towards that image of Jupiter and see what new things come through. And basically the Five of Cups, another perspective card. 4 and 5 are very similar. The thing with the Five of Cups here, this deck does a great job of showing the optics and worrying about what others may think about you. But remember, there's always a hidden Two of Cups in the background. Look at the people that have been there every step of the journey, and especially through the challenging moments, and know that they're here for you now, and they've always been there for you. The reversal of this card is also saying that you're choosing to walk away from things that don't bring a sense of happiness or joy in your life. If you're doing something and you're just kind of going through the motions, you don't have to do that anymore. And this is reminding you that there always is a silver lining or a bigger purpose. We can't always see it when we're in the middle of something. If you're in the middle of grief or sadness or frustration, those energies tend to take center stage, which is why earlier when we saw the 7-day forecast, you need to step away. And even here in the catalyst, it's also saying it's time to step away. If we take a look at the overall spread, this is because something new is on the horizon. It just requires a shift in perspective. We see the Two of Wands here, and we're going to talk about that in a few moments. Let's focus first on how you're showing up here. We have the Prince of Cups coming through, representing yourself, your soul, your energy. And this is a card of a gentle opening in the heart space. And with the Prince or the Knight of Cups here, it's also saying you're willing to put yourself out there a little bit more than you have before. Or if you are willing to put yourself out there, people are going to start to respond to that, because look at this. This is you. This is your environment. So the Prince of Cups, I'm going to gently share my ideas, my thoughts, my energy. And then we have a Prince of Pentacles saying, yeah, that's what we've been waiting for. This is what we want. I'm ready to invest in that. So this is what you're sending, and this is what is being received. And I couldn't ask for a nicer coupling of cards here. This can also be love, folks. And this is evenly matched love. For me, I don't read gender in cards. I look at the rank and I look at how complementary they are. And I really like what I see here. So as a representation of you, this is gentle, emotional vulnerability, putting yourself out there just enough. And this is someone who's really grounded, really receptive, and very supportive. They've got their life together. So I like that. Also, we're looking at this as an aspect of what's making itself available to you. It could be a new job opportunity, a loan, some money, something that you want to explore and that is going to be receptive to your application or your interest. This is creative energy. So one of the things that you want to be willing to do is to put yourself out there and take a risk when it comes to creative vision or creative ideas. This isn't a time to sit in the background and let other people talk. You really want to let people know that you have an idea and you have a point of view as well. Okay? So by and large, some beautiful energy here as well. And guess what? We actually got the Lovers too. It was hidden by all of these cards, but we're looking at hopes, fears, and opportunity. The Lovers comes through, and it's basically saying, if you are able to believe that you are deserving and capable of receiving the love, then other people are coming through and saying, yeah, I'm ready. I'm glad you're ready too. But there is something, because we're looking at self-worth and net worth. It's important to believe that this isn't just an accident. So when someone comes through and says, you're perfect for this job, or I've been thinking of asking you out for a while, do you want to go out? Or, hey, we should do coffee. Let's be friends. This is not an accident. This isn't a fluke. They weren't just being polite. That is actually an invitation to connect. And you are energetically set up for success here, but emotionally and cognitively, there has to be a shift and there has to be a flip of the switch that says, yes, I will. Yes, I can. Yes, this is right. I'm deserving of this. So really, I think one of the mantras this month to focus on is, I am ready, I am willing, and I am deserving of the love and the opportunity and the abundance that's come my way. Okay? Let's keep looking at the cards here. I love what I see here. This is manifestation. So this is your outcome, and you have two cards. We have a surface card here, which is just showing, again, an offer. We talked about the Ace of Pentacles before being a representation of something being offered to you. And then we see underneath it, it's kind of like call and answer. So this is the call, I want this or I'm ready for this, and the universe is delivering. And I always like to set it up so all of this are greater, all of this in the highest good, allow the universe to come through with even more. So I definitely see your manifestation skills being very, very strong right now. So when you are programming your manifestation, imagine that it can be all of this or greater in the highest good. And that will allow the universe to surprise you, because we got the devil a few times reverse, which could be that you may not imagine how far you could go. The universe has grand plans for you based on what I see here. But there's a few little hiccups, and then we're going to get into the expanded forecast that could stand in the way. One is a fear of change. One is also this feeling like it's going to take me a long time to get to that growth potential. You don't know that. It could also be this feeling of all these people have ideas of who I need to be and what I need to be, and maybe I've even been pushed on this path. Can I still make a shift? You can always change. And the most important thing as we're looking at this is that you don't have to burn any bridges. You're going to be that conduit between where you are and where you want to be, and later people will never question how you got there. They're just going to wonder maybe why you didn't do it sooner. So let that be a possibility in your future trajectory to help open things up. Okay, now let's expand the forecast. We're going to look specifically at the areas of health, wealth, love, and destiny. And we're going to do that again with the idea of increasing your self-worth to also call in that net worth or that opportunity. All right, let's begin by taking a look at your health card. As we look at this card, one quick note, I always like to disclaim that I'm not a doctor. I am an intuitive reader, and we're going to be looking at energy that will open up opportunities. So if you have anything going on with your health or with your mental state, you obviously want to work with the professionals for that. Now, looking at the energy and looking at how this can affect your health, we have priorities. And, in tarot, there would be many cards that could be connected with this. Judgment, Justice, Two of Pentacles, Six of Pentacles, the list goes on. But basically what you want to do is decide for you, what is it that you need and want right now to be happy, to be healthy, and also to protect those around you, whether it's your furry friends like Apollo, or it's your children, or it's your partner. You need to figure out, what can I do to protect the people and the things that matter most to me? Set those priorities into motion. People are looking to you for guidance. And you had a lot of power cards here with the Knights. Again, people receiving what it is that you put out there. And for looking at the priorities here, one of the things that I would say is a priority for happiness. Love and abundance and happiness want to come through, but there is a lot of blocks in the past from people around you that wanted something different for you. Just because they saw a different path, just because they think a different path would make you happy, that does not mean that what you know, incontrovertibly, that works for you, that isn't correct. You have to follow your heart, your soul, your mind in this moment, now more than ever. And part of that includes speaking up and saying what it is that you need and what you want, okay? Let's take a look at the cards and see if there's anything else energetically from a health perspective. Some of you might have had a wake-up call. So the Death card comes through not only just to sort of show where there's stagnation, but sometimes we have a close call. And this is a chance for you to do whatever it is that your health professional or your own energy says that you need to do to be healthier, to be happier, and to have sustainability and stability in your life. This is a comeback card at the center. So you might have had that brush with death, but this card is saying, you know what? I'm stronger, I'm better, I know what I want now. There is an energy with this where you want to focus on your head, basically, and this can be concentration, migraines, stress or repetitive thoughts. And for all of these things, you'd want to work with a professional, obviously. But with the Nine of Wands specifically, it can just show increased sensitivity cognitively, mentally, and emotionally. Basically anything that would affect the head. But if you've ever had any sort of trauma before, it can also be like vertigo and injuries around the head too. So be very careful and be very mindful of that energy. Usually this is just stress management. So do what you need to do to focus on clearing your headspace a little bit. Let's see what else is coming through with the energy of the cards. Don't go into excess. Anytime we have the Three of Cups and the Five of Cups, you could be trying to drown any sort of stress or sorrow in eating, drinking, or substances, and we really don't want to do that. And other than that, it's looking pretty good, actually. Once you focus on what's possible, this basically just became a reset moment for you, and everything starts to go in a good direction. So I like what I see overall with health. Let's focus now on wealth and money. So we have Odin coming through, and he carries with him this insight. Of course he does. We're going to talk about how he's connected to the Hanged Man here in a second. But your third eye is open. See truth for what it is. Follow your intuition. Odin, as many of you know if you watch my one-card pulls, is connected to the Hanged Man. You've gotten 2 cards this week about patience, the Hanged Man and Temperance. Temperance is about being careful and being moderate. I mentioned balance, but moderation is a big piece of that. And the Hanged Man is about being where you are and learning everything that you need to from that moment before you step forward. Don't rush. And one of the things that I would say when it comes to your money and your finances is not to rush through something. Not to rush to the finish line if you're trying to graduate or get a car or a house or pay off something. Slow and steady always wins the race when it comes to finances. And this is a card of sacrifice being worth it. Odin made several sacrifices, from his eye to hanging upside down, and he got different things for all of these things, but he was aware of what he was doing when he went into it. So look at the opportunity cost and the trade-off when it comes to whatever it is that you're investing in, and make sure that it's worth it for you, okay? Let's look at some other cards here. First of all, Odin is also a king. He would be like a King of Pentacles if you wanted to, or the Emperor card, because he's the All-Father, but also because he's coming through in money here, we'll give him the King of Pentacles moniker. All right, let's take a look at the cards and see what other energies are coming through, not just for this week, but maybe for the next month or two. All right, so for many of you, you've already decided. You're done with something. And again, it could be a job, it could be a career path, it could just be that you need to make some changes in your life to be happy. But the Death card is coming through in the crowning position to say, you know what it is. It's really just a matter of how invested you are in making that change happen. The minute you decide, I can, I will, I am, then people start to step in. Your environment is filled with people here. We have Prince of Cups, Prince of Discs, and the Lovers. So I definitely see movement happening for you the minute you're ready to step away from something. So if you've been looking at stepping out on your own, stepping away from a job, or putting your hat into the ring for consideration of something different, change is the name of the game, and you do get what you're looking for. It may not show up the way that you thought, may not be exactly in the way, shape, or form, but it is going to be all of this or better. So be open to different deliveries for this. And I think that's going to be really important. Being the bridge, when we're looking at this, is also being the agent. So you are the one that is the agent of change. You're also maybe the one that's going to represent yourself. So this could include self-distribution, self-publishing, self-representation, because you know yourself best. So that's definitely one aspect of that I see. This is a period here over the next 8 or 9 months, actually, if we look at the two of these, of rapid expansion. But it starts off slow and then it kind of picks up. So just because you don't see it immediately and initially doesn't mean that you're not going to get a payoff on that. When it comes to just money in general, I like that you're headed in the right direction here. I do feel like some of you may have had a setback. You may be beating yourself up for that, but remember that is context, that is basically framing up the narrative so that you'll know what not to do and what you really want to do. So focus always on solutions, possibilities, and then take the learnings and apply them to those. If you've been looking for work, we see an opportunity. It might be 2 months out, 2 weeks or 2 months. It's in the future, but this would also come through, and I've been seeing this for a lot of people, through existing friends or existing networks. So don't be afraid to reach out or lean into those sort of energies. And that's basically what I see. One last thing here as we're looking at this, of course, this is one of the ultimate entrepreneurial cards here, because again, we've got a king. So if you want to do this, you may be the best one to do whatever it is that you're trying to do. All right, let's focus now on love and relationships. Here we have a card of like a merchant or a trader, and it says, exchange energy to create abundance. Really what this is asking you is there an equal exchange between you and the person that you love? Is this worth it? Are you working on the same things? Because if you're not, then this is a chance to really bring about that that sort of balance in your life. So as Apollo gets situated behind us here. So yeah, this is a chance to really take a look at friends and loved ones and the partnerships that you value the most, and you think to yourself, am I getting what I put forth, or is this falling short a little bit? Let's break this down into 3 different areas. Those of you in a relationship, looking for a relationship, or single and happy. If you're in an existing relationship, there is a little bit of a wake-up call that's happening here. So with the death card in the crowning position, sometimes we get to a point where it's just sort of like there's been a comfort level that's been achieved. And the question here is, are you seeing each other and seeing each other's sort of path in the same light? Or have you kind of gone your separate ways a little bit? So I think the important thing here would be to really have a chat about what is your joint vision for the future? What are you afraid of? What do you want to understand more about? Intimacy in this sense is actually more about future planning and letting your partner know, I see you as a part of this. Because when we look in the environment, that's actually how it shows up. Prince of Cups, Prince of Discs, Lovers. You talk about your hopes and dreams and you agree to that. So that's the key to success this month, is to say, hey, I've been thinking about this. You know, when we talked about retirement, or, hey, you know, I know you've been thinking about going back to school. I looked at the finances. I think we could do this if that's something that you want. Talk about shared hopes and dreams. Let your partner know that you heard them when they talked about something. Make plans together about how you can both support each other. And that is going to allow for continued health in the relationship. There's been some stagnation for some of you, and you're going to be the bridge to help with that. Some of you may be on a rebound, you could also be sort of experiencing some loss in your life, and you just got into this. So if this is a newer partnership but you're still in a relationship, make sure that you're doing what's necessary to mourn what's past. We don't want it to be too much of a rebound, right? And you need to kind of like cleanse out the old energies. If you've lost someone in your life, a parent or a loved one, then this energy is coming through to say, you're going to have to lean more on your partner than you're used to, especially with this here. To be able to kind of bounce back, it's a lot. You need some support. And it could come through in unexpected ways. As someone who, it's now been 6 months since I've lost somebody, it comes in when you least expect it, usually when it's like a stressful moment, or you're trying to work on something, or you think about something that they would have enjoyed, and you just kind of have that emotional relapse for a second, and then you can come back into your sort of normal Zen space. Let your partner know when that's happening. It's all about including them in the journey, right? And let them know how they can show up for you. Everybody deals with grief differently. So for those of you grieving, make sure that your partner knows how to show up. Okay? Otherwise, again, it feels like it's just a chance to have a reset and share some hopes and dreams together so that the two of you can basically make some plans and feel like you're together. Okay? A trip could also do you some good if that's something that the two of you are interested in. Focusing now on those that are looking for love. That rebound energy comes through as well. So if you've just loved and lost, or if you've just gone through something difficult, I think it's so important for you to get your heart and head in the right space first. I actually think that there's love waiting for you as soon as you're ready. You have options. This isn't just you. This could actually be a couple of opportunities here. One of these much more serious. The earth sign could be a lot more serious about settling down than the water sign here. But what I'm going to say here is it's important for you to feel very, very ready and very deserving of this. The final card for both those in a relationship and those looking for a relationship is so important. This is saying, I have been an active participant and creator in all of this love and abundance. I accept it. I accept my responsibility in this. I accept the opportunity. I accept all of the offerings from the universe here because it's beautiful. And it's kind of interesting. We have a flower behind death here, but it also reminds me of a pentacle. And it's basically saying, invest in this change or this opportunity and more will come your way. I think that when it comes to love right now, I still see a lot of energy around finances and business right now. So I think the most important thing for you to do is to focus on what is it you're trying to do on this planet? What is it you're trying to do at school, at work, with your finances? Get a firm sort of handle on all of that first. And that's going to help you when you see this person to kind of figure out, how do they factor into all of this? Where are they at in this sort of roadmap? And that's going to make them feel better too, because if you know what you're looking for and what you're trying to do, then they don't have to come in and try to fix this. They're coming in as a friend, as a partner, and they can be a part of this journey. They can hop in the passenger seat and just enjoy the ride with you rather than trying to steer the wheel for you or take the wheel from you. It's really important for you in this moment in time to have a very, very clear vision. You create the path, you receive the abundance on that, okay? And that is everything for those that are looking for love. I definitely see it coming through. You have to be able to give 50-50 though. This is true of also those in a relationship. It's an even exchange. If you're single and happy, I think it's a fantastic time to be that. I think that you could really open up some amazing energy when it comes to money and work and opportunities. You're going to have more than enough friends and partnership opportunities as well, but it doesn't seem to be your central focus. It's you changing your path or who you are, you meeting some people that might be like in that soul family, that chosen family. And yes, some of them could end up being love, but it doesn't have to be your focal point if you don't want it to be. The Lover's card, when we're looking at opportunities, can simply be a gigantic magnet saying, you are someone that people want to be around. You are someone that has something amazing to offer, which, by the way, is true. And so you can just have a great time. It's a very social, I would say, week and month ahead. So don't stay in unless you have to, all right? Because you could be missing out on some really great opportunities to chat, to connect, and to do something wonderful. All right, let's focus now on your Destiny card. I view Destiny as a very malleable, very powerful card. So this came through reverse, but you can do anything that you want to do with this. And guess what? It's called Opportunity and Change. Basically, we're taking the transformation card, this Death card here, which is where the crowning energy was, and we're combining it with the opportunistic energy of the Ace of Pentacles and then the Two of Wands. So these are very compatible and very appropriate images to come through. So where do you stand? That's what this card is saying. Where do you stand? What do you want? What do you believe in? The card is reversed because a gateway or a door is open, but a lot of times we have disbelief or this sense of, can this really be? Yes, this is reality. This is you manifesting in real time. And it may seem cosmically out there, but this is something that you can absolutely do right here, right now. So the universe is ready. The universe is delivering. It just requires your ability to suspend disbelief, be present, and be grateful. Just say thank you. Yes, that sounds great. Or if something doesn't feel right, say what it is that you want and be open to receiving that. Don't expect that you're going to get a no. Hold room for a yes or a yes and get even more than you thought. Okay? I always like to take a look at a big idea, even when we're looking at these very special weekend topics. And recently I've been liking to look at past, present, future energy for this. It's a little different on the weekend. So let's do that again for today, looking at the past and present and future energies with respect to the special topic. So I think this is going to really help us in this area. So again, just reading the special topic to make sure that I grab the energy of it. It's increasing self-worth and net worth. So let's see what the opportunities are with respect to that. Where have you stumbled? Where are you at? Where are you headed? So message from the past, message from the present, the devil reversed again, and from the future. Okay. So I often have like messages from a future you. The future one is just that. So these are your three cards, and they came through in this order. So this is your past, Page of Cups in reverse, present, devil reversed yet again, and then we have the Five of Swords here. So let's talk about these. Five of Swords was upright. Page of Cups in reverse. In the past, emotions ruled you perhaps, or fears or anxieties stepped in and could have presented or constituted a block for you. This is a part of your life that you're ready and willing to walk away from now. You are not beholden to your emotions anymore. You observe them, you validate them, you understand where they come from, but they don't control you. That moment has come and passed. Every time the devil has shown up in the cards this reading, and this is the third time, it's always been reversed. It keeps trying to come through and hold you back, but you are not going to be held back. This is an important moment of change for you. And I've said this before, not in my readings. This does not take the energy away. This is basically saying, I always like this card because it shows all the past lives that you've been through, all the experiences that you've been through. You have overcome something similar to this before. This is like the final test. All of the pre-tests, all of the practice work that you've done have set you up for this moment to unblock yourself. And that's what this is about. This moment in time, you are not stuck anymore. I'm here to tell you that. You are not stuck in a cycle. You're not going to keep having the same thing happen to you. And I'd like you to repeat to me and to your higher self and to whatever your connection to the divine is, a very important message and mantra. I am ready to release a cycle, and whatever that cycle may be, of poverty or sadness or bad luck in relationships or whatever your sort of energy around something it is that you don't want. I'm ready to release this because I've learned my lesson, because this type of teaching no longer suits me, because I'm now ready to experience joy. In life, we have a divine right to experience joy and happiness and fulfillment. So in this moment in time, state to the universe that you're ready for that kind of lesson instead, and express gratitude. Thanks for teaching me in this unconventional way. I no longer need it. It no longer suits me. I do not feel any anger toward it. I just no longer need this lesson. I release it. Let it go. And it will attach to something else. It's no longer your lesson to learn. And now remember here towards the future that you don't have to prove yourself to anyone. You don't have to argue with people, especially when they won't listen. You are stronger than that. You are smarter than that. You're going to take the high road towards an opportunity, towards expansion. And the Five of Swords basically symbolizes someone in your life that is never going to completely understand something from your point of view, or has a hard time with accountability or letting other people shine or win or whatever. So it's not worth it. And instead of being fearful, you're going to see these people and these blocks for what they are, and you're going to walk the other way. Or you're just going to dismiss it and say, okay, don't feed that energy. And that is going to be what will set you into a powerful path of self-worth, which will then already help you acquire what we saw here. This is all net worth, and it's all good. Look at this. This is you, Prince of Cups. This is what's coming in, Prince of Discs. This is the possibilities beyond that, the Lovers. And this is the outcome, Ace of Pentacles and Two of Wands. Dare I say, you're worth it. You have great abundance and opportunity surrounding you and incoming as well. And all you have to do is show up and say, yes, please. Yes, I am ready. Yes, I worked hard for this. Because you did. Because you have been through it. And we see it here. There's been some difficult stuff going on. There's still some challenges. Some challenges going on. Don't let the fear get in the way of the possibilities. Be the bridge. Stay open and allow for more love, more happiness, more development to come through. Okay? What an empowering, what a beautiful message to end on today, I believe. All right, so we have just a couple more things left here, and then we're going to wrap up. So I always like to close my reading with a meditation, but it also contains with it a final card at the end. So think about something that you're working on for your own sort of, maybe it's an insecurity, maybe it's a goal. What is it you're trying to manifest in your life? And how, especially if this is a question around net worth or self-worth, go ahead and release that question. Hold it out there. Think about it for a second. And then when we pull a card in a moment, we're going to figure out what is that sort of final answer for you. All right? I'm going to grab the singing bowl and we're going to meditate together. I really love this illustration. So take a look at this before I grab the singing bowl. Imagine yourself on the bridge. And we have two different bridges here. So you can pick the one that you want. Maybe moving towards Jupiter, either that, or you could be here in the forest moving towards this beautiful light of creation. Whatever bridge you like. Start to conjure up that image. I'm going to grab the singing bowl and we're going to meditate together. right, close your eyes and imagine yourself walking up this beautiful bridge of light. Imagine that the bridge itself could be crystalline in structure, so that as you walk across it, if you've ever watched any of the Thor movies, you know the sort of bridge in Asgard, it's like that, iridescent, crystalline, and very secure. So imagine yourself walking on this beautiful crystal gate and moving towards, or bridge rather, moving towards a gate of light, and see that as being an opportunity. You're opening up this new energy, this new path, and you're leaving behind you the fear, the doubt, and the uncertainty. Everything is going to be easy sailing from here. Imagine yourself now at that destination. See yourself sitting comfortably, filled in a room with all your dreams, all your abundance, all that beautiful energy that you've been working to create, and just feel like it was worth it. All of the challenges, all the twists and turns in the road, they've led you now to this clear path and this clear energy. And if you were to take a look at yourself, you would see the energy flowing around you and through you with this just brilliant clarity. And I want you to walk away from today's meditation feeling clearer, cleaner, lighter, brighter. Take a couple of deep breaths, and I want you to come back into your body. See yourself here on this planet in this moment, carrying with you all of that insight that we just talked about. And now focus on your final question for me. What is it that you still need some insight on? Say it out loud or just think it in your mind, and I'm going to pull a card. We'll see what the energy is. We got a volunteer, but I'm going to pull a second card as well. Okay. And very appropriate that the Wheel of Fortune would come through for this. So the first card was the Prince of Swords. And this is the third prince that we got in this special reading. We got the Prince of Cups, the Prince of Pentacles, and the Prince of Swords. So this is about speaking up and asking for what it is, taking action. So as a yes, no, this is an emphatic yes, but it's also saying yes, comma, but you are the one that's going to start the conversation, create that sort of connection. And, you know, we actually already got the very active Be the Bridge card. So that makes a lot of sense here. So be the bridge, open up the conversation, open up the line of communication, and also be the sort of source and inspiration of the action. Don't wait for someone else to take the first step. Start doing it and then let other people catch up. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune on this. So the other thing here for some of you is you may need to sort of be the conduit to bring in abundance. So this could be going out and getting a loan. This could be, like I said earlier, trying to dissolve some assets or sell some things, move things around a little bit. And if we were to meditate on the energy of the Wheel of Fortune, one of the cool things with this is it is kind of like steering, right? It's like you're taking the wheel of a ship or wheel of a car or any sort of vehicle, and you're deciding, this is where I'm going to go. And we don't go overboard. I was talking to one of the signs earlier this week. You make small adjustments. If any of you that drive, you know that there's only certain times that you're going to crank the wheel. Usually you're making small adjustments to stay in lane. Maybe you crank it a little bit more to take a right or a left, but you're not going to do radical moves all the time. It's usually very small movements to keep you right on path. So that's all you need to do. This is the card of action. And this is reminding you that many of those moves are small, subtle. Going back into what we talked about with the epiphyllum, the queen of the night, the Sirius flower, it's all about subtle energy, things that you don't always see, they're still happening. So those small movements are going to be the most impactful movements. And I think that's the most important thing to kind of focus on right here and right now. So that, my friends, brings me to the close of this very special weekly forecast. Please, if you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button, join me on social media. And I've thanked you in real time since this was a live premiere, so both Dakota and I have been thanking everybody that gave back today. But thanks again. Today, again, it was a tiebreaker, and it happened because of all of you that are not only just that voted in the main poll, but also the channel members and Patreon supporters. So thank you so much for that. Finally, and most importantly, thank you so much for being so supportive as I've been moving through all of these changes from location to location. I'm actually enjoying today being able to just chat with you in real time here. And I look forward in a couple of weeks to going back to my regular live schedule. But in the meantime, I'll be doing live premieres every Monday, Thursday, and Friday for the monthly readings, every Sunday for the 7-day forecast. And of course, you can catch all of my daily readings Monday through Sunday on the main channel. And those are the 1-card, 1-minute readings. So I hope you enjoy all of that. From my heart to yours, wishing you all the best. I'm going to hang out here with Mr. Apollo and kick off the day. So take care of yourselves. I'll talk to you soon. Again, wishing you all the best. Bye-bye.